the worker, and this is, we are in the year of Saint Joseph, which Pope Francis had declared on December the 8th, 2020, and it goes through until December the 8th, 2021. And so in his apostolic exhortation, in which the year was declared, called Patris Cordis, it's with a father's heart. The Pope wrote a little prayer to Saint Joseph, and that's the prayer that I would like to use today. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Hail, guardian of the Redeemer, spouse of the Blessed Virgin Mary. To you God entrusted his only Son. In you Mary placed her trust. With you Christ became man. Blessed Joseph, to us too show yourself a father, and guide us in the path of life. Obtain for us mercy and courage, and defend us from every evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Could we all please stand and sing our national anthem?
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. Cattle brasi portili pira, ise porti la croix, ton histoire est inévocable, tes plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Stand on guard for thee.
We will now sing the opening ode. Of indigo and earthen past, with the superior stormy seas fill the world of long ago. We have with us today in attendance Bishop Crosby, our state chaplain, Bishop Daniel Meem, Archbishop Terence Prendergast, and Bishop Guy de Rocha. Thank you, Your Excellencies, for joining us today. There are a few announcements I need to make as we proceed with this virtual meeting. We know that this will be a unique experience for all, including your state officers and staff, so I am grateful for your patience. Delegates with voting rights must be registered with the Zoom platform to be able to vote during this business session. If you're not registered with Zoom, you will not be counted in the official roll of voting members of the convention. Delegates with proper credentials have the right to speak during this meeting. If someone with the right to speak wishes to do so or has a technical problem, please message Harpreet, who's the co-host, in the chat box, as all the microphones will be disabled. The minutes of the 2020 State Convention and all reports of the committees, reports of officers, resolutions, and the budget for the next fraternal year have been distributed prior to this meeting, and they have been posted on the State Council website for review. Our goal is to complete this required business today in 120 minutes, 2 hours. I'm sure we will go a little over, so many items have been abbreviated or eliminated. I ask that everyone, especially the delegates, stay connected until we have concluded this meeting. If you are dropped from the Zoom call video presentation, please rejoin the meeting in progress by using the Zoom link, invitation link that was sent to you a couple of times. Due to the circumstances of this virtual state meeting, I have asked our state secretary and state treasurer to serve as our credentials committee. I have also appointed Brother Ron Vander Steen to serve as our parliamentarian for this virtual meeting today. At this time, we are pleased to have a message from Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly, which we will play now.
My brother knights, I am honored to address your convention for the first time as Supreme Knight. Serving you in this role is among the greatest responsibilities I will ever have. It is one I wholeheartedly embrace out of love for the order and our timeless mission of charity, unity, and fraternity. I must begin by thanking my predecessor. Carl Anderson led the order with distinction for 2 decades. Under his steady hand, the Knights reached heights our forefathers never imagined in membership, insurance, charity, and spiritual formation. I speak for myself, the men of your jurisdiction, and our brother Knights worldwide when I say thank you, worthy past Supreme Knight, for your principled and visionary leadership. I am addressing you today from the birthplace of our order and the spiritual home of every Knight, St. Mary's Church in New Haven. It is fitting to speak to you from this hallowed place, for this is the first convention season since the beatification of our founder. We now have the great joy of praying for the intercession of Blessed Michael McGivney. By beatifying our founder, the Church has, in a clear way, blessed and confirmed his vision. It is a testament to the difference Father McGivney made, starting with the men of his day. Those men were no strangers to challenge. The First Knights weathered a great deal of hardship, including a pandemic. They courageously laid down their lives by serving others. They tirelessly strengthened their families, parishes, and communities. They stood together as brother Knights, and so did the men who followed in their footsteps down to our own day. We are the heirs of this proud tradition. In the beatification of Father McGivney, the Lord has not only confirmed where we have been, He has confirmed where we are going. Our founder's vision endures in us, and we will carry it forward. When I look to the future, I see the Knights rising to meet the challenges of our time. I see us rising in charity, serving those who hunger and hurt, near and far. I see us rising in unity, defending the church in this difficult time. I see us rising in fraternity, strengthening bonds among our members while inviting a new generation into our brotherhood. I see us rising on every front, and I see this and more because of what I have already seen. My view of the Knights was formed as a young man, learning from the example of those around me. I am a third-generation Knight. My grandfather joined in 1915 before he left for World War I. My father, a naval officer, was a faithful member of our parish council until his death. I joined the order as a college Knight, and I became more involved during my own years in the military and public service. At every stage, I have watched Brother Knights put their faith into action. And there is perhaps no better example than the past year. COVID-19 has been one of the greatest challenges we have ever faced. In a matter of days, our parishes closed, our councils and communities shut down, and our countries ground to a halt. I vividly recall Pope Francis's solitary address in St. Peter's Square in March 2020. Where thousands would have normally stood, the Holy Father stood alone. Where the voices of the faithful would have risen together in prayer, the Holy Father's voice rose alone. On that day, we saw a church and a world in crisis. And in the days that followed, the Knights of Columbus confronted that crisis head-on. We swiftly launched our pandemic initiative, Leave No Neighbor Behind. It ranks among the most successful initiatives in the Order's history. We gave millions of dollars in direct relief and helped millions of people come through the worst of this crisis. We supported our brother Knights and their families, helping each other through economic hardships, the loss of loved ones, and the isolation of unprecedented lockdowns. We supported our parishes, standing beside our priests and helping people safely access the sacraments. We supported our communities and fed the hungry, providing meals to struggling families and donating to food banks. We held blood drives in response to severe medical shortages. And through countless quiet and unknown acts of courage, our brother Knights have come alongside their neighbors. As you gather for your convention, brothers in your jurisdiction and across the order continue to meet the needs of neighbors near and far. We recently sent much-needed oxygen and medical supplies to Brazil and Peru, and now we are building an oxygen facility in the region. We will continue to save lives and meet needs worldwide amid the current crisis. While the pandemic demanded so much of our attention, I am proud to report that Brother Knights maintains strong support for all our long-standing and life-changing charitable initiatives. Through the Global Wheelchair Mission, we have now given more than 100,000 people the gift of mobility. Through Coats for Kids, we have now kept more than 800,000 vulnerable children warm during winter. Through our pro-life efforts, including the Ultrasound Initiative and the March for Life, we have saved countless unborn children and assisted mothers to make the courageous choice for life. In the Middle East, we have helped persecuted Christians reclaim their lives, rebuild their parishes, and restore entire towns. In the wake of earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, and wildfires, we have provided food, shelter, and medical supplies to families who lost everything. And thanks to you, in the last fraternal year, we donated more than $187 million and volunteered more than 77 million hours for charitable causes. As vaccine rollouts promise a return to normal life, I am confident there will be a new outpouring of charity from you and all our brother Knights. Just as we provide charitable support for our neighbors, we strengthen our families through our insurance program. During the pandemic, we issued more than $7.3 billion in new insurance. We have now set another record for insurance in force at more than $116 billion. Not only does our insurance provide financial security to our Catholic families, it is also an important engine that propels much of our charitable work. I am grateful to our agents for quickly and successfully adapting to a new virtual business model. Their hard work enabled our business to come through a very tough year. And I am just as thankful to all our brother knights for their dedicated service in this time of great challenge. Your witness is in keeping with our highest traditions. You have set the stage for the order to reach new heights in the days ahead. As we look to the future, we hope and pray the pandemic will soon be behind us. When that day comes, the Knights of Columbus must lead the restoration of parish and council life. The past year has made clear that the Mass is truly the source and summit of our lives as Catholics. By the same token, we have come to an even deeper appreciation for the bonds of brotherhood forged in our councils. That is why we must devote our strength to fully reopening our parishes and returning to normal council activities as soon as it is safe to do so. To that end, I am pleased to announce the launch of our COVID recovery plan. Like our Leave No Neighbor Behind initiative, the recovery plan offers a high level of customization to fit the needs of your councils and parishes. It will provide concrete ways for you to help restore normal council life and help the men and families of your parishes emerge stronger from this crisis. I urge you to help your councils adopt the COVID recovery plan as soon as possible. The sooner they do, the sooner we will strengthen the order and the church while showing a new generation that the Knights have what men and families need. One of my top goals in my first year as Supreme Knight is to witness your work and impact firsthand. When travel becomes possible again, I will visit as many jurisdictions as I can. I believe good leadership starts with good listening. So I want to hear and learn from brother knights in your region and across the world. I am especially eager to see how you and all our brother knights are helping men grow as husbands and fathers. The men of today are struggling to keep their marriages healthy and their children Catholic amidst an increasingly hostile culture. Men, especially young family men, are looking for help. The Knights of Columbus must be there for them in their crucial vocation as husbands and fathers. This mission is personal to me as the father of 3 young girls. I pledge to focus on new initiatives and resources that will enable you to help the men of your parishes become better husbands and fathers. St. John Paul II affirmed that the future of humanity passes by way of the family. I believe strongly the same can be said for the future of the order. As we pursue that future, let us turn to St. Joseph for inspiration. Pope Francis has declared this to be the year of St. Joseph. Joseph is the patron saint of fathers, families, and the universal church, and he has a special place in the hearts of knights everywhere. In an address to our board of directors, Pope Francis called St. Joseph an admirable model of those manly virtues of quiet strength, integrity, and fidelity which the Knights of Columbus are committed to preserving, cultivating, and passing on to future generations of Catholic men. And in this special year, Pope Francis has said that St. Joseph embodies creative courage. Creative courage, the Holy Father told us, emerges especially in the way we deal with difficulties, bringing out resources we did not even think we had. Given the challenges we face as a church and as an order, every knight is called to embody St. Joseph's creative courage in the days, months, and years ahead. And we should look not only to St. Joseph, but also to our beloved founder. Like us, Blessed Michael McGivney lived at a time of difficulty and crisis. The young priest saw urgent problems in his parish and community. He dedicated himself to finding unique solutions. Ultimately, his creative courage led him to found the Knights of Columbus. He knew that in this band of brothers, Catholic men could accomplish great things. Nearly 140 years have proven him correct. My brothers, we are Father McGivney's heirs. The Knights of Columbus has never been more needed. Our mission has never been more important. The world is crying out for men who look up to God and out for their neighbor. That is who we are and who we must always be. Let us renew our commitment to charity, unity, and fraternity. And in pursuit of those timeless principles, let us muster all the creative courage we can. May St. Joseph and Blessed Michael McGivney intercede for us. And may the day soon come when I can see you in person and celebrate your good work in service to God and neighbor. Vivat Jesus.
Thank you, worthy Supreme Knight. We are pleased to have our Supreme Director, Brother Arthur Peters, present today, and I call upon him for his message. Brother Arthur.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy, and thank you for allowing me to be here at our convention here, and I promise that my remarks will be brief. As our Supreme Knight has noted, this is a very fantastic year for the Knights of Columbus, starting, of course, last fall with the beatification of our founder, now Blessed Michael McGivney. And we continue to celebrate that in our order, in our councils, and pray, hopefully, for his canonization in the future. We, of course, thank our past Supreme Knight, as the Supreme Knight noted, for his leadership. I've worked with the Supreme Knight for the past 4 years, and his dedication and commitment to the order is above all. And we're grateful for all that he's done for us in moving the order forward during his time as our Supreme Knight. And of course, now a new Supreme Knight. You've just seen our new Supreme Knight, Brother Patrick Kelly, who is going to help usher in a new era for the Knights of Columbus and a chance to bring us to even greater heights. Our jurisdiction has done well once again here in Ontario. We are one of the leading jurisdictions in the order, and we continue to show that. So I start by thanking you, worthy State Deputy, and the State Board for your leadership in this time of pandemic. This has been a challenging year. And for you, in your 2 years as State Deputy, most of that time in a period that we're experiencing right now. So it's been a very challenge, but you've shown incredible leadership, you and the board, and thank you very much for that. Our councils have done so much in the past year, especially in the last 2 years, but even in the last year, as people were worried what would councils do, we've embraced the Leaving No Neighbor Behind initiative more than ever. We've called Brother Knights and offered to help them to take them for their vaccines. We've brought them food. We've kept in touch with them. We've worked with our parishes to help bring parishes back as they were open, to help as ushers, to help clean the church, to help serve as lectors in any way possible to do that. The Supreme Council has also helped, contributing $180,000 to food banks in Canada. So the Leave No Neighbor Behind program, which was started, has been embraced by our councils and by the order, and is a way for us in our programs in the past year to move things forward. Our Knights of Columbus agents have done well, of course, in continuing to promote the fraternal benefits of our order through insurance. We have more than $100 billion. We have more than $100 billion of life insurance in force, and the business is stable, of course, because of us, because of the agents and our Brother Knights. Our Brother Knights have done so much in the past year, as was pointed out by our Supreme Knight, over $187 million to charitable efforts and over 77 million volunteer hours. It shows the strength of the Knights of Columbus, and each and every member of the order in Ontario is a part of that success. So please extend our appreciation, not only to you, Grand Knights, District Deputies, and Brother Knights, but to your council members as well, because they've helped make that possible. And you think about it, people wondered in a time of pandemic, would we be able to bring new members in? What would we do? In Ontario, we brought in 1,384 new members since last July 1st. People want to join the Knights of Columbus. They want to be part of the success that we have. Order-wide, more than 2 million members. We continue to maintain that number. We've now brought in online membership, and we're averaging 400 to 500 members a week signing up as an order. We have online exemplifications, making it possible for people to join the order in a much faster way to get active in our councils. So these are all great things that are happening for the membership of our order. But as I mentioned, over 1,300 members, we're at a point, Worthy State Deputy, where we need just 252 members to reach the Circle of Honor for the second year in a row. It would be great, Worthy State Deputy. I can jokingly say, my brother, wouldn't it be great if we achieved Circle of Honor for the second year in a row? And even more, if we could go just a little bit further, we have 2 months, 416 members would allow us to achieve the pinnacle tier of our membership program, the top tier. We can do this, brothers. It's only 416 members and 2 months to go. We can do this. As has been noted with the pandemic, there's been a lot of activity in our councils, but pretty soon with the vaccinations, hopefully by this fall, we'll be able to come back and start to return to normal activities in our councils and hopefully physically meeting and physically being able to do our work. The COVID recovery plan, which has recently been introduced, is a way for us as councils to help our parishes to bring people back to our churches as the churches open and as society opens up on the whole. We can help invite people back to our parishes and support our pastors in that way. And also to bring them into the Knights of Columbus. When they see the Knights doing the work to help our parishes, they will want to be part of us. So just our activity in helping to do that will help to bring members into our order, to get people involved in our parish life, and then also to talk to them about the Knights of Columbus and the work we're doing, not only locally, but internationally as well. And working with your pastors in the COVID recovery plan, we're able to help show the benefits that the Knights of Columbus bring to the parish, and again, help to attract new members into the order. As our Supreme Knight noted, we are Father McGivney's heirs. We are the people who are continuing his vision from almost 140 years ago, and we're going to continue that in the future. This is why we need to bring new members in to continue the work that's been done over the last almost century and a half, well into the future. We've had a very tough year, but our councils have done so much, and you, Worthy State Deputy, and the board have done so much. I thank you for all that you've done, and I congratulate you, even in these challenging times, on the very successful year that we've had here in Ontario. Thank you, Worthy State Deputy.
Thank you, Worthy Supreme Director, for your kind words. At this time, I call on our State Secretary for the report of the Credentials Committee. Brother Marcel.
Unmute yourself.
Having reviewed the list of delegates based on information provided by our councils and cross-checking this with the members that have registered today through Zoom for this virtual meeting, on behalf of the Credentials Committee, I report the following number of delegates: 5 state officers, 1 immediate past state deputy, 279 delegates for a total of 285 voting delegates.
Without objection, the roll of delegates submitted by the Credentials Committee will be
David,
the official roll.
You have to unmute yourself.
Members of the convention.
Unmute yourself. Start again. Start again.
I will repeat that. Without objection, the roll of delegates submitted by the Credentials Committee will be the official roll of voting members of the convention. Without objection, the rules will be suspended and the following shortened order of business will be adopted: prayer, appointment of committees on credentials, report of committees on credentials, approval of 2020 minutes, the report of committees, the reports of the state officers, nomination and election of state officers, nomination and election of representatives and alternates to the Supreme Council, consideration of resolutions, new business, prayer, and adjournment. At this time, we will proceed with the approval of the minutes of the 2020 State Convention, which have been distributed prior to the State Convention. Are there any corrections to the minutes? There being no further corrections to the minutes are approved. At this time, we will proceed with the reports of the committees. As the various reports of the committees have been distributed prior to the State Convention, without objection, they will be adopted as written and included in the minutes. We will now proceed to the report of the State Deputy. For that purpose, I turn the gavel over to the State Secretary, Brother Marcel Lemon.
My dear brother knights, it is my very great honor as State Secretary to present, for the purpose of making his annual report on the state of the order in Ontario, our worthy State Deputy, Brother David Peters.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. Your Grace, Your Excellencies, my brother knights, good morning. I hope you and your families are staying safe and secure during these uncertain times. It is my esteemed honor and privilege to welcome you to our 118th State Convention and to thank all those participating today. Normally, we would have all met at the Sheraton Hotel in Niagara Falls, but due to the circumstances beyond our control, we cannot hold an in-person convention once again this year. Therefore, a second virtual meeting is necessary. This leaves me very distressed, as it must you, at the thought that we cannot reacquaint ourselves with so many of our beloved brothers and their families. The last fraternal year will go down in the history books as one of the most challenging in our society and our order. The fraternal year 2020 brought us a sense of pride and joy as we achieved the Circle of Honor. I am very grateful for the relentless efforts exerted by everyone who worked to achieve this goal. Despite the restrictions, the last 18 months' effort resulted in 3,110 members being recruited. In addition, 14 new councils were opened, with the newest council 17725 at St. Clements Parish in Ottawa that was opened by District Deputy Roger Richard, District Deputy 101. I would like to express my gratitude to Brother Roger. Thank you, Brother Roger. This fraternal year, State gave out 8,292 coats to needy children. I would like to thank Brother Neil Bouvier, who chaired the Coats for Kids program. In addition to Ontario State staff member Annie, who was responsible for the successful delivery of this program. We would also like to thank all the councils and individuals who made the Coats for Kids program a great success this past year. As Supreme recommended, the Leave No Neighbor Behind program was very well received by our councils, who very enthusiastically participated in one form or another. Councils best demonstrated this by making life easier for the elderly members of their councils and the widows of our dearly departed knights. They provided help to seniors as and when needed, be it picking up groceries, driving them to appointments, or simply speaking to them from time to time. My gratitude goes out to every single brother knight who this past fraternal year has made an effort to serve the good of the order through our council's activities and projects. Despite the limitations and restrictions imposed by the pandemic, many councils went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that no neighbor was left behind. With courage, creativity, and determination, councils serve their brothers and their parishes and pastors and their communities. Some of the highlights of this charitable events were councils participating in the Ontario Knights of Columbus Society of St. Vincent de Paul Community Support Program and partnered with their parish St. Vincent de Paul Conference to serve the needs of the least of our brothers. Councils supported the Faith in Action Service Program model, to name a few from the faith pillar. St. Mark's Parish Council 10874 in Stouffville presented a papal blessing certificate to the council's founding chaplain, Father Leslie Tomas, in honor of the 60th anniversary of his ordination. St. Joseph's Highland Creek Council 11525 in Scarborough organized and hosted the Lenten Stations of the Cross service for the benefits of their parish. Ontario State Director, Brother Joseph Remedius, organized a very well-attended virtual Lenten retreat and a monthly rosary for the benefit of all the Brother Knights in the province. Under the family pillar, St. George's Parish Council 10843 in London distributed coats to children attending 7 local schools, including schools serving the Oneida and Chippewa of the Thames First Nations through the Coats for Kids program. To name 2 from the community pillar, Monsignor Gerard Bean Council 8309 in Whitby held a can and bottle drive to raise money for the council's Leave No Neighbor Behind program and the Ontario Knights of Columbus Society of St. Vincent de Paul Community Support Program. Council 728 in Kingston donated a large sum of money to the local Society of St. Vincent de Paul Conference to help with the purchase of a van that had been stolen. To name 1 from the life pillar, the great number of councils that participated in the virtual March for Life last May, Life Chain in October, Pregnancy Center Support, and the countless novenas for life that have been completed for the benefit of the innocent unborn. And they did all these activities not in spite of the pandemic, but because of it. You have no doubt heard the adage, where there is a need, there is a night. Well, there has never been greater need for the Knights in our parishes and communities than these last 13 months. We were made for this fight, and together we have fought the good fight and ran the race. Because if not for us, then who? This past year saw the end of the Knights of Columbus state-promoted paper-based lottery, which has been around for over 50 plus years. Due to the pandemic, a new era emerged in which we introduced many new digital lottery platforms. A careful, informed study was conducted involving all the different platforms which were available. As a result, the now existing Knights of Columbus 50/50 Ontario Charities Raffle was successfully introduced. The raffle consists of 4 annual main draws encompassing a number of early bird prizes for each event. The initial test is already underway and the sales have reached 24,145. The initial gross sales was 48,290, with the winner taking home 24,145. The second draw is already underway and the sales have reached about 3,600, with still 8 weeks to go. A special thank you to our lottery director and 50/50 raffle program manager, Brother Jaime Libaki, which combined with the exceptional efforts of Ontario state staff were able to implement, train, and maintain the behind-the-scenes preparations, the daily updates, and the continuous requirements of the platform. I believe that we are well on our way to achieving and exceeding the expectations that we hope to achieve in implementing this new and exciting program. So please, my brothers, buy tickets now to help support our needy charities. The Ontario State portion of the net sales for our initial 50-50 lottery draw went to support a pro-life ultrasound machine initiative and the Martyr Shrine project. We now need to reconnect with our parishes and communities, as many men are looking to be a part of this reconnection. As soon as churches carefully reopen, let us take this opportunity to show everyone the important role the Knights of Columbus have played and will continue to play. The Knights have endured many a crisis, and with God's help and each other's help, we will endure this one as well. A big concern is that the many councils who have not been active and may easily become complacent and lose interest. We need to plan a strategy to help these councils stay interested and engaged, provide them with activities and goals, and encourage them to use virtual technologies to help our members stay connected and keep communication open and engaging. CRP, the COVID recovery program. Many people ask, many of our brothers, why do we need this? Councils are struggling during this COVID. Churches have also been very severely impacted by the pandemic, and they need our help to recover. I do not need to tell you, my brothers, how our communities have been affected. The Knights are uniquely positioned to set a great example on how we emerge from this crisis. What can come out of this crisis? Through our voluntary service and charitable actions, our members have not yet or have not signed to be idle. Many of them want to help, and I cannot think of a better way to do that than giving them the opportunity to help. Councils do need to put a COVID recovery focus on the fourth quarter of their meetings and their plans. Focus on COVID recovery for the new fraternal year. The CRP guidebook will be available on the Knights of Columbus website. Supreme is providing the training program for CRP, which will also result in keeping our councils active and engaged. We ask you that you please utilize this opportunity to help grow our order and keep it strong. Many of the people in our communities will really benefit from our numerous faith in action programs. Please do your best to create awareness and implement these programs so all can benefit. My brothers, our aim is to reach the Pinnacle Award this fraternal year. Despite these pandemic times, we have done very well. We only require 416 new members and 4 new councils to be opened before the end of this fraternal year. We need all our brothers and councils to step up to this challenge and make this happen. This is for our province, for Ontario. Let's put Ontario on that map. I am very honored to work with all of you. Stay safe and healthy, and let us continue to keep our order alive and thriving in Ontario. Thank you very much for your hard work and dedication, and may God be with us as we continue in His service. Blessed Michael McGivney, pray for us all.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy, for your eloquent and inspiring report on the state of the order in Ontario. Without objection, the report will be adopted as delivered and included in the minutes. Did you want to do a poll, Don?
Yes, please.
We'll just do a quick attendance poll right now.
For those that are logged in on the computer, please, I direct your attention to the screen now.
I think as the host. Thank you for participating in the attendance poll. I now return the gavel to our worthy State Deputy.
Thank you, worthy State Secretary. At this time, I will call on our State Chaplain, Bishop Crosby, for his report to the meeting. Your Excellency.
Here we are. Thank you very much, worthy State Deputy. My report, I think you have a copy of my report in the documentation that came out for the. So I'm not going to read the entire report, previous presenters have already spoken about the beatification of Blessed Michael McGivney, which I've included in my report, and also the pandemic response, and also the year of St. Joseph. So I don't want to belabor those anymore. The year of Amoris Laetitia family, I want to start with that. On the Feast of the Holy Family in December 27, 2020, Pope Francis called for a special year to mark the 5th anniversary of his apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia. March 19, 2021 marked the anniversary of the letter, which followed the synods on family in 2014 and 2015. And the year will be coordinated by the Dicastery for Laity, Family, and Life. So the Pope wrote, "Let us entrust this journey with families all over the world to the Holy Family of Nazareth, in particular to St. Joseph, the devoted spouse and father. The Knights of Columbus have always offered strong support for initiatives that encourage family life. The year of Amoris Laetitia began on March 19, 2021 and will conclude on June 26, 2022. And there's a website reference in my report that you might want to make reference to. So many priests graciously accept the call to serve as chaplains to the Knights of Columbus councils throughout Ontario. You are blessings for your brother Knights. Your dedication and commitment reassures them that the order still follows the Catholic vision and values espoused by our blessed founder. May his inspiration encourage us all to be the steady arm that strengthens our brothers to be men of faith and service. And finally, I want to thank worthy State Deputy David Peters and the entire Ontario State Council for welcoming me. I am fulfilling the commitment of Archbishop Marcel Damphousse, and it's been very interesting experience, and especially to be doing it during these special times. Please pray that I will serve in the manner of previous state chaplains and in the manner of our blessed founder, Blessed Michael McGivney, for the well-being of all Knights, their families, and their parishes. So that's the report. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your comments are greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
As the various reports of the other state officers have been distributed prior to the state convention, without objection, they will be adopted as written and included in the minutes. I will now request Brother Dom to lock our virtual meeting room. No latecomers will be allowed to participate.
Worthy State Deputy, the meeting room has been locked.
Thank Thank you, Brother Dom. Worthy State Secretary, is there an update to the reports to the Credentials Committee?
Since the initial report of the Credentials Committee, we have had a number of delegates join us. The new count is 5 state officers, 1 immediate past state deputy, 281 delegates, for a total of 287 voting delegates.
Without objection, the revised roll of delegates submitted by the Credentials Committee will be the official roll of voting members to this convention. We will now proceed to the elections of officers. Please note that the nominations submitted to the State Secretary will be considered for that respective position. It is important that the voting delegates follow the instructions on how to vote. The voting will be anonymous. The system that we are using records the votes, but does not show how any particular delegate voted. Remember that only credential delegates will have the rights to the floor, and you must be recognized to speak. Even though we are using an electronic polling system for the vote, in case of an unforeseen issue, I have appointed Brother Joe Matthews, our state membership director, who is present today, to verify the results as they come in. We will now start with the elections of the state officers. As noted in the guidelines distributed and posted on our State Council website, the following nomination was submitted for the position of State Deputy. Brother Marcel Lemon, nominated by Joseph Lemon, Council number 14421, and seconded by Peter Lemon, Council number 7969. Nominations are closed. Since there are no other nominations, the State Secretary will cast one ballot for Marcel Lemon for State Deputy for a one-year term commencing July 1, 2021. Congratulations, Brother Marcel. Moving on, the following nomination was submitted for the position of State Secretary. Brother Bruce Poulin, nominated by Dennis Amoy, Council number 6908, and seconded by Daniel Mainwell, Council number 9922. Nominations are closed, and since there are no other nominations, the State Secretary will cast one ballot for Bruce Poulin for State Secretary for a one-year term commencing July 1, 2021. The following nomination was submitted for the position of State Treasurer. Brother David Jelinas, nominated by Reginald Campbell, Council number 5350, and seconded by Gordon Edwards, Council number 9226. Nominations are closed, and since there are no other nominations, the State Secretary will cast one ballot for David Jelinas for State Treasurer for a one-year term commencing July 1, 2021. The following nomination was submitted for the position of State Advocate. Brother Joe Bodner, nominated by Shane James, Council number 9989, and seconded by Steve Zealand, Council number 9989. Nominations are closed, and since there are no other nominations, the State Secretary will cast one ballot for Brother Joe Bodner for State Advocate for a one-year term commencing July 1, 2021. The following nominations were submitted for the position of State Warden. Brother John Seaman, nominated by Leroy Eid, Council 13335, and seconded by Brother Paul Brown, 11090. Brother Henry Miller, nominated by David Tyrrell, Council 1388, and seconded by Brother Guy Roussel, Guy Roussel, 7724. Brother Earl DePass, nominated by Stephen Maloney from Council 10416 and seconded by Gerald Potwin from Council 10416. Since we heard the three of our candidates at the town hall meeting yesterday, at this time, we will now proceed to the balloting for the position of State Warden. You will be prompted by Zoom to vote for Warden. Please follow the instructions that you receive on your device. Balloting will be open for 1 minute. Please note that you are voting for Warden. Voting is a two-step process. After you verify your vote, you need to submit it for it to be counted.
Do I get the opportunity to vote? Yes. Where does that show up?
There's no box.
I'm seeing the poll results, but
Guys, somebody's microphone's on.
The ballot has been completed and closed. With the tally confirmed, I now call upon the State Secretary for the results. Brother Marcel.
with a total of 271 ballots cast, there was no clear majority. Earl DePass's name will be removed from the next ballot. Another vote will be taken to get a clear majority. The remaining two candidates are John Saman and Henry Miller. Please proceed with your voting now. Again, you have 1 minute to select and submit your vote.
With a total number of 277 ballots cast, the majority of the votes went to Henry Miller, who will be our next state warden for a one-year term commencing July 1, 2021.
I'd like to make a motion that the newly elected state officers be appointed as directors of the Knights of Columbus Ontario Charities Foundation, Inc.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. I'll accept that motion. Can I have someone second the motion, please?
Worthy State Deputy James Zamet, Grand Knight, Credit Valley Council 8661 in Mississauga. I second the motion.
Thank you, Brother James. All in favor? Without objection. Without objection, this will be adopted. Now, let us move into the election of the delegates to the annual meeting of the Supreme Council. Your state deputy and the immediate past state deputy are automatic delegates. In addition to these, Ontario can elect 8 more third-degree members to represent us at the meeting, 4 insurance members and 4 associate members. For this purpose, I call on our State Secretary, Brother Marcel Lemon. Brother Marcel.
The Supreme Delegates are elected by the diocesan associations based on a rotating schedule. Where a delegate is not elected, the State Board nominates one in his place. The 2021 delegates are Bruce Poulin, Domenico Pontone, Wilfred Gomez, Jim Kretz, Rocco Galtieri, Donnie Thivierge, Alphonse Ainsworth, and Robert Plurd.
The nominations are now closed. The State Secretary is directed to cast 1 ballot for the names that were just read as delegates to the Supreme Convention. I ask that all insurance and associate delegates, as well as the alternates for insurance and alternates for associate delegates, to please email the State Secretary your full name, membership number, council number, date of birth, and phone number. Thank you. At this time, I call on our State Advocate, Brother David Jelinas, to present to us the report of the Resolutions Committee. Brother Dave. Before he starts, let me state that the recommendation of the Resolutions Committee will act as an active motion. If someone with the right to speak wishes to do so, please type in the chat to Harpreet, who's a co-host on the Zoom platform. I repeat, please type in the chat box to Harpreet, who is the co-host on the Zoom platform when you are recognized. Please ensure that you unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon in the bottom left corner when you do so. Please be ready to speak. I ask that you keep in mind the difficulty this virtual meeting presents to all of us concerned today, and I ask for everyone's cooperation to help this meeting to run smoothly and in the spirit of fraternity. By the state bylaws, Section 13, delegates will not be able to speak for more than once until we offer other delegates to speak, with the exception of councils that submit more than 1 resolution. If no one else asks to speak after the representative of the council presenting the resolution speaks, the dropping of the gavel after a brief pause will signal the approval of the committee's recommendation and the adoption of the resolution. Worthy State Advocate, please proceed.
Worthy State Deputy, thank you for your introduction. Welcome, brothers. All resolutions included in the resolution section of the convention booklet for presentation and debate today are deemed properly presented before the meeting and therefore will not require a mover or a seconder. I wish to thank the following who represented the 2021 Resolution Committee, including Grand Knight Mario Duguay, Council 11500 from Ottawa, Grand Knight Peter Youngson, Council 3305 Essex, District Deputy Kevin Smith, Council 17157 in Fergus, Grand Knight David Andrighetti, Council 1652 Niagara Falls, Grand Knight Craig Murphy, Council 7332 Thunder Bay, and Grand Knight Christopher Dunn, Council 13244 in Toronto. I will not read aloud the resolutions. I will call out the number of the resolution about to be presented, and I will announce the recommendation of the resolution committee. This is the time to chat to Harpreet if you wish to speak once I announce the number. The council presenting the resolution will be called upon first to speak, and if there are no others indicating they wish to speak, then we'll proceed to the adoption of the resolution with the dropping of the gavel by the state deputy. If, however, there are others that wish to speak about the resolution, we will accept a total of 2 for and 2 against the resolution for a maximum of about 1.5 minutes each. Our moderator or host will indicate when your time is about to expire. The method to speak is to chat to Harpreet, as their state deputy has indicated, and to indicate in that chat if you are for or against the current resolution, along with your name and your council number. My eyes as a state advocate will be on watching the private chat between Harpreet and I will call out who is next to speak. I ask that you only chat to Harpreet for the resolution that we are currently dealing with, and not to jump early to a resolution that is further down the list. Your cooperation will help Harpreet to keep the chat room less cluttered and less complicated, and I thank you for this. After any debate is concluded, we will proceed, and you will be prompted by the Zoom platform for balloting for voting. Please follow the instructions that you receive on your screen. Balloting for voting will be open for 1 minute. There are some resolutions that are encouraging councils to participate in a letter campaign. These are listed in the appendix in the convention booklet. Only those resolutions that are adopted today by the delegates are the sample letters expected to be found in the appendix and to be used by the councils. Any rejected resolutions with a letter campaign, we ask councils not to use. I will now begin the resolutions starting 1 through 9 together. Okay, brothers, this is our normal routine resolutions. Consider the congratulatory resolutions. And the resolution committee has recommends to adopt these 9 resolutions and to send forward to the Supreme Council. So I am going to, there we go. So this is the time, if anybody has any objections, chat to Harpreet. I'm going to look for Harpreet to get back to me. Okay, seeing no indication, the worthy state deputy, after a pause, will drop the gavel as adopting the resolutions as presented. State deputy, there we go. Okay, now as we move on to number 10, again, I'm calling that out. And the recommendation of the committee is to adopt number 10. I call on Brother Marcel Lemon to comment on this resolution.
Thank you, worthy State Advocate. The resolution is self-explanatory. As we're conducting more business using electronic internet platforms, it becomes required that our bylaws allow us to transact that business. And it's required by Robert's Rules of Order. The language in our bylaw changes is patterned on bylaws that are used by other organizations. And I recommend that the resolution be adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. I'm just going to take a brief pause here to see if Harpreet's going to chat with me, if any of you have chatted with Harpreet. Again, just a reminder, if you want to chat with him, please indicate you're for or against the resolution. And Brother Harpreet has indicated there is nobody indicating to speak on this. So the worthy State Deputy, after a brief pause, the dropping of the gavel will indicate adoption of the resolution. Thank you. We now move on to a number 11. And the resolution committee has recommended to adopt resolution number 11. And I call upon Brother Bruce Poulin, State Treasurer, to comment on this first.
Thank you, worthy State Advocate. Les anciens membres sont de plus en plus préoccupés par le statut de leur renseignement personnel une fois qu'ils ont quitté l'ordre. Les officiers du Conseil d'État ont donc estimé qu'il serait approprié d'informer les délégués votants et de déclarer officiellement qu'ils ne conserveront pas, ne stockeront pas et ne feront pas référence aux renseignements personnels des anciens membres après 5 ans à partir du moment où ils ont été suspendus ou retirés de l'ordre. En d'autres mots, leurs informations personnelles seront rayées de nos fichiers. J'appuie donc cette résolution. Thank you, worthy State Advocate.
Thank you, Brother Bruce. I'll take a brief moment here to take a look if Brother Harpreet has received any chats. Indicating anybody wishes to speak on this resolution. Okay. Brother Harpreet has indicated there's nobody indicating anything. So I will give it back to the State Deputy. After a brief pause, the dropping of the gavel will indicate adoption of this resolution. Okay. If someone's turned on his microphone, I'm assuming he's dropped the gavel at this point.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you, worthy State Deputy. We now move on to resolution number 12. Brother Dom, if you could scroll that up. And the resolution committee has recommended to adopt resolution number 12. And I call upon Brother Bruce Poulin to speak first about this resolution.
Thank you again, worthy State Advocate. The national anthem was actually amended in 1968 at the behest of parliamentarians to add the lines, quote, "from far and wide," unquote, and, quote, "God keep our land," unquote. And then in 1972, Kitchener Council 1504 submitted a resolution to the State Council Convention delegates that was carried by an affirmative vote. And the resolution read as follows. It is hereby resolved that the subordinate councils in the jurisdiction of Ontario adopt the practice of singing this revised version. The proposed resolution before us today reflects this official precedent of adopting any formal changes to the national anthem through the State Council Convention like we did almost 50 years ago. I therefore support this resolution. Worthy State Advocate.
For the State Treasurer, Bruce, I thank you for that information. And I will give a brief pause here as we wait to see if Brother Harpreet has received anybody indicating wish to speak upon this resolution. Okay, Brother Harpreet has said he has received nothing. We open the mic if it's worthy state deputy. After a brief pause, the dropping of the gavel will indicate adoption of resolution number 12. And number 12 is adopted. We now move on to number 13. And the resolution, even though the resolution committee is repulsed by the crimes, the alleged crimes, they recommend to state council to table indefinitely until a review of appeal court. Okay. With explanation to protect the recipient's reputation with the award. They were concerned if we are looked upon as targeting somebody who may or may not have received a fair trial. Brother Bruce Poulin, our state treasurer, will speak on behalf of state council in favor of the resolution. Brother Bruce.
Thank you again, worthy state advocate. So the intent of this resolution is to serve notice to the federal government that people are holding them accountable for supporting a false narrative about certain Canadians who are convicted criminals. We're offered an opportunity to get in front of this issue and put a marker down as to what we have always believed and never tolerated amongst ourselves, our families, and our parishes. We support the rule of law, international law, and Nepal, with whom we have had diplomatic relations since 1965. His appeal was heard, and he was sentenced to 8 years in jail. Just look it up on Wikipedia. I believe the good Lord has things to say, and I believe this resolution gives us, as member knights, a chance to say some of it. Let us be heard. So I'm in favor of it, and a draft letter to be sent to the Advisory Council of the Order of Canada has already been drafted and is available for your review should you support this resolution. Worthy State Advocate.
Thank you, worthy treasurer. Brothers, I'm going to have a pause here as waiting for Harpreet to indicate to me if anybody's indicated to him that they wish to speak for or against the resolution. Okay, I have somebody here. I have, Brother Harpreet, for Brother Wayne, please indicate if it's for or against, and I'll know who to call. But at this time, we will open the microphone of Brother Matthew Cox, who is against the resolution.
We have Matthew Cox against, and we also have Wayne Cascanet against.
Okay.
Matthew, you should be on the microphone now.
Thank you. Matthew Cox, Acting Grand Knight, Council 17558. I have a question first before I'm for or against. Is this gentleman, Peter Dalglish, is he a knight? Is he a Catholic? That's my question. I'd like to know.
I forward your question on to Brother Bruce Poulin. No, Brother Bruce has indicated that he is not a Brother Knight.
Okay, so then I would like to speak against this, saying, why are we, if he's not a knight, how is this knight business? You know, I'm sure the Ontario State Board isn't so bored that we're gonna petition the Order of Canada to, that doesn't deal with knight business. If he's not a knight, how is that a Knights of Columbus matter?
Brother, are you finished with your discussion, Brother
Yes,
Matthew?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. We'll open it up
Okay.
to Wayne Cascanet next, who was against.
Yes, thank you.
Wayne, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Worthy State Board. I wrote a letter earlier there saying I don't watch much news because it can be so misleading and extremely depressing. Therefore, when I read Resolution 13, I had no idea who Peter Dalglish was, but I questioned myself as to why this seemed to be important to the Knights of Columbus. I am not a supporter of child molesters, but I do believe in fair justice. I question whether this was a fair trial, being it was not held in Canada, and possibly from watching too many TV shows. This morning I woke up just after 3 hours of sleep and decided to perform more research on Peter. I sent a letter off to the state board there with some information I found, but some of the newspaper reports seemed to throw some doubt on the fairness of the trial, and couldn't find any evidence of finding any molestation from other organizations with regards to Peter. The police originally reported he abused 2 girls, but was later changed by administrators to 2 boys. Supposedly, the 2 boys have since recanted their stories.
Brother Wayne, 15 seconds, please.
Okay, although this crime is horrendous, it is truly, if he is truly guilty, I do not find that this is a matter that we as Knights should be challenging without more evidence and knowledge, unless someone who has more information that has not been published. I think we should be dealing with more issues that relate to our faith and not with who got the Order of Canada for the State Board.
Thank you, Brother Wayne. I now call upon, and that's now 2 against, and I call upon Gordon Newman, who will be the second one. The first one would be the State Councilman, Brother Poulin, speaking for it. So Brother Gordon will speak for the resolution, Council 104-02.
Hey, Gord Newman, if you're there, you just need to unmute your microphone.
I have unmuted it.
Okay, we hear you.
Brothers, I speak against this, or for this resolution, basically based on 2 concepts. One is we have an extremely viable program within our own organization called Safe Environment. If we don't support this motion, we're saying that Safe Environment is just, well, just a little piece of paperwork that we're going through just for the sake of having it done. To say that they didn't have a fair trial, that's the same as Nepal saying to us, somebody that we convict is not given a fair trial because they don't believe in our system. I believe that he has gone through the due process, and the fact that we support our country and our rule of law means that we should support this motion and have this man's name withdrawn from the Order of Canada, which gives a man a distinction which I would not, as a Canadian, list to have him recognized as.
Okay, thank you, Brother Gordon. This now concludes our discussion with 2 for and 2 against the motion. So I asked Brother Dom to put up on the screen the resolution number 13. And brothers, please follow along if you are for the resolution or against the resolution. Please conduct your voting. And brothers, since I'm in a different location, I will ask our state deputy or our state secretary to reveal the results of the vote.
Do it now? Yeah. The votes are in and the motion is rejected, or the resolution is rejected.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. So brothers, just to remind you, since the resolution has been rejected, please do not use the appendix letter that is provided in the convention booklet. Okay, we now move on to resolution 14. So brothers, the resolution committee voted unanimously to adopt resolution number 14. And if Brother Dom, if you could, I don't know if you want me to put it on the screen, but at this point, I just want to let you know that the state board withdraws the resolution, but I need to give you an explanation. So we withdraw it because David Gottlieb from Jones Dolores cannot provide us with any proper costing due to the market of the insurance industry because of the effects of the pandemic. Therefore, we cannot provide any costing to you, the delegates. the state board feels that this was very important to have this ready for you. And the state board and the convention committee are all still in favor of the intent of the resolution, but the state board will withdraw it and will review this into the future. But also keep in mind that our poor adoption of safe environment, which is currently at 23% of councils in full compliance, does have a negative effect on our insurance rates. So as a safe environment compliance officer, I strongly urge the councils to get involved with a safe environment and to get that completed so that when we renew every year, it won't affect negatively our insurance rates. So now with number 14 withdrawn, I now move on to number 15. Brother Dom, thank you. The resolution committee has voted to adopt or recommends to adopt resolution 15. And I now call upon Grand Knight Phil Horgan to speak on the resolution. And you have a minute and a half. Is Grand Knight Phil here?
I thought I had already unmuted, but apparently the host has to unmute me. Am I on?
You're good, Phil.
Thank you, worthy state advocate, members of the state board, fellow knights. My name is Phil Horgan. I'm the Grand Knight of San Damiano Council at 15861 in Toronto. Just for clarification, Brother Dave, I want to make sure that last year I spoke once, but then wasn't called upon on subsequent resolutions. If I understand this year, I'll be able to speak to the resolutions and not
Yes, you don't have to do a blanket one covering all of them. You will just be able to speak. You'll be called upon for each one. So let's focus on this one. Thank you.
So I have 4 resolutions to speak to here. Again, the goal of these resolutions, and in past years when I brought them, I think it's a great opportunity at our state convention to speak out on matters that are important to our faith and to public policy generally. These are opportunities for individual councils to perhaps speak to their parish, speak to their local representatives. It may provide courage or a message to allow such discussions on important issues. Many of you know I'm a leader in the General Council of the Catholic Civil Rights League, which is an organization that has been engaged in the fair hearing of matters of Catholic and Christian faith perspectives on public positions in the public square.
Brother Phil, 30 seconds, please.
Oh my goodness. Let me turn quickly then to the resolution 15. This is a somewhat repetitive of resolutions already passed in 2018 and 2019. But in particular, people should be aware that this bubble zone legislation passed in 2017 has resulted in a charge against Father Tony Van Hee, a Jesuit priest in Ottawa. We're looking for his continued support. We're looking for people to speak out and to—
10 seconds, please.
If people aren't aware, the Crown has submitted 15 affidavits to uphold this unjust law. It needs to go to court. We brought the constitutional challenge. I'm looking for support of this convention. Thank you.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Phil. I'm going to watch the chat from Harpreet, and if anybody's indicated they wish to speak on this resolution number 15. Harpreet, have you received anything? Okay, Brother Harpreet has indicated no one has indicated. Oh, we do have one now at the last moment. Okay, is it for or against, and who is it for? Who is it? Okay, so I now call upon Gordon Newman, who wishes to speak against the resolution. Brother Gordon.
Good afternoon, brothers, or good morning, I guess it's still morning. I guess my question on this one and speaking against it is that it appears to be a blank check. And I'm concerned that a blank check from the state is just not what we could afford at this point in time. Every council is financially hindered right now. So if we say that we're going to continue to financially support the challenge, then we have no idea where that dollar figure is going to end up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brother Gordon. Anyone else wish to speak for or against?
Hey, Brother David, we have Brother Dan Heffernan would like to speak for.
Okay, Brother Dan, I ask you to unmic. Unmute your mic, brother, for the immediate past state deputy Dan Heffernan.
Yeah, do you hear me okay?
We're good now.
Okay, sorry about that. Trying to get unmuted here.
Okay.
I speak in favor of this, and just to answer, you know, I suppose the question could go back to Brother Phil Horrigan to give us a little clarification, but to what Brother Gordon Newman said, this is not a blank check. I mean, in the end, it comes back to the state board to decide when, where, and how much we give, if it's even feasible to do so at the time. But we did pass this resolution prior to this, asking for some support for Father Tony Van Hee, who is going through a court challenge now and he didn't even violate the bubble zone in a way of saying I'm against abortion. He carried a sign that said that he was in favor of free speech. And for that, he got arrested and is now going through a court challenge. If we can't stand up for our priests, who are we going to stand up for? And there's an old saying, if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for everything. And I think this is the time we say who we are. We're Knights of Columbus. We stand up for the Knights of Columbus. We stand up for our priests. And it's not whatever we don't worry about what the cost is right now, but we'll deal with that at the board level when and if that comes. But we're looking for that permission to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Dan. Harpreet, and I will entertain one more against.
Yeah, Brother David, we have Brother Mario Peluso would like to speak against.
Okay, Brother Mario, please unmic yourself, and you have the floor now.
Am I there? Am I unmuted?
You're good, Brother Mario.
Thank you. I agree with our previous brother, and I'm against this as well, because I guess at what point, where does this end as Knights? How far do we go as Knights? Is it a fight that we want to take on? And also the previous brother just before me did say something favorable. So I'm kind of on the fence right now, because as long as it does go back to states, I guess it's the cost factor. And as brother Knights, I just don't know if we want to set a precedent and continue to support this. And we don't have unlimited funds. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm kind of on the fence right now, but I still think at the end of the day, I think I want to reject this.
Okay, thank you, Brother Mario. So this now has now I've received 2 for the resolution and 2 against the resolution. So Brother Dom, we will now go into vote for this. Brothers, please follow the voting poll and indicate if you're for or against adopting number 15. And I will ask for the State Secretary Marcel to indicate the results of that poll.
The delegates have voted, and the majority of the delegates vote to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. Brothers, we will now move on. If Don could put it on the screen, resolution number 16. And the resolution committee found the bill as well as the resolution just a bit confusing. So they asked Brother Phil to define the conversion therapy, and the committee is actually 50-50 split. Therefore, we leave the further explanation to the delegates today to Grand Knight Phil Horgan, who will speak on behalf of Council 15861. Brother Phil, you now have the floor.
Okay, thank you, worthy state advocate. Given the time constraints, I'll just try to speak to the bill. Bill C6 is currently before third reading, I think, in the House of Commons, then it'll move to the Senate. The Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops have already spoken out against this bill. In particular, there's a very problematic definition of what constitutes conversion therapy. Without getting into a legal analysis of that, I think I'd prefer just to quote the concerns raised by our bishops in that the bill makes no provision for legitimate diversity concerning viewpoints on human sexuality arising from religious beliefs, from philosophical debate, from scientific and medical study. Nor does it make any provision for conscientious dissent related to such matters in forms of teaching or public presentations. In effect, the bill treats any and all conversations that may deal with sexual identity or orientation that may be in any way critical, especially as they apply to children, as being an effort in conversion therapy. Well, pastoral discussions, even discussions when the Attorney General was asked about discussions that may occur at the kitchen table between parents and their children. He said, well, parents need to be careful. I mean, it's an intrusion into areas of sincere religious observance and belief. This is not a message that is in any way opposed to the concerns over gender or gender identity. It's the concern of the overreach of the bill by virtue of its definition, intruding on parental and religious freedoms. Thank you.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Phil. Brother Harpreet has indicated we have Brother Paul Johnson that wishes to speak against the resolution. Brother Paul, please unmic or unmute your mic. Your floor is now for you.
Thank you, worthy state advocate. I am against this resolution, primarily because the term conversion therapy scares me. It takes many shapes. It can form, conversion therapy could be anything from innocent conversations to forced counseling, or even go as far as what they do in the States with their re-education camps. Mental health of teens that are struggling with their sexuality is tentative at best. Forced conversion therapy would push many of them right over the edge. We as the KFC have absolutely no say in any individual's life decisions, especially those who are not practicing the Catholic faith. I am a person who has counseled many teens in this situation. I can assure you that this type of conversion therapy would be detrimental to the teens that are just trying to find their way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Paul. I now call upon District Deputy Wayne Cascanet to speak, and he wishes to speak for the resolution. Brother Wayne, you now have the floor.
For the State Board, Wayne Cascanet, District Deputy 55, Council 6736. I am in favor of this resolution because basically, if your young child goes to school, the teachers nowadays can sort of talk to them about, yeah, just because you're a boy, you might actually feel more like a girl. However, when that child decides, well, maybe I am a girl, comes home, if the parents try to talk to them about no, you are a boy, or, try to take them to their parish priest to sort of discuss the issue, the parent and the priest could be fined, possibly even jail, I don't know, for discussing that fact. Like it doesn't seem fair that the teachers can sort of teach about the fact that you might not be what, your birth certificate says you are. But if your parents try to tell you that you are, you could actually be fined $5,000 or something with that. So I'm in favor of this resolution.
Thank you, Brother Wayne. I thank you for your comments. And I will entertain one more against if there is anybody else. Brother Harpreet has indicated there is nobody else indicating wish to speak. So Brother Dom, if you could put the resolution number 16 on there and brothers follow the instructions if you're for number 16 or against adopting number 16. Again, at the end of the poll, I ask Brother Marcel, State Secretary, to reveal the result when they're known.
The results are in, and the resolution is adopted by a majority of the delegates.
Thank you, worthy State Secretary. We now go to number 617 resolution. So if Don could put that on the screen. The resolution committee has recommended to adopt number 17, and I will call upon Grand Knight Phil Horgan to speak on behalf of resolution 17. The floor is now yours, Grand Knight Phil.
Allowed to unmute myself. Oh, there I go. Okay.
You're good.
Resolution 17 is effectively a bit of a repeat and an update. We have done these resolutions in previous conventions, I believe in 2018 and 2019. The update is in fact because the federal government has increased the proposed spending for third world reproduction services from what was an outstanding figure of 650 million, then went in 2019 to 1.1 million. Now within the last 6 months, an increase to 1.4 billion of taxpayer money being spent on reproductive services, of which 700 million of that figure to be spent by 2023. I've put in the resolution mentions of what our bishops have said, what our Holy Father Pope Francis have said about the promotion of abortion in third world nations as in effect a form of ideological colonization. The Knights are known for standing for life.
20 seconds, please.
For the importance of supporting mothers, but we cannot be standing for the continued excessive funding of such exportation of anti-life policies in the third world. Thank you.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Phil. Okay, Brother Harpreet has indicated Brother Theodore Matchcock is for the resolution. Brother Theodore, Brother Ted, if you could unmic or unmute your microphone, the floor is now yours.
I hope I have.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
We can very well. Thank you.
I would like to speak for this resolution. We have children starving all over the world, and our government is spending money on reproductive rights. I think we could better spend our money helping people rather than getting involved in this. So I'm in favor of this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ted. I appreciate your comments. And I will now entertain anybody who indicates they're against the resolution. I will wait a brief time here to see if Harpreet has something for us. Okay, Brother Harpreet has indicated we have no other comments. So I now ask Dom to put up resolution number 17 up on the screen, and please indicate with your vote if you're for the adoption of the resolution or against. And at the appropriate time, my brother asked Brother Marcel for the result.
A majority of the delegates have voted to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. Brother Dom, we could put on resolution number 18 on the screen. Brothers, the resolution committee recommends to adopt number 18. And now I call upon Grand Knight Phil Horgan to speak on behalf of resolution 18. The floor is now yours.
Thank you again, worthy State Advocate. We've spoken on these issues in the past. When I initially contemplated a resolution for this year's convention, it was to oppose Bill C-7. But as people know, Bill C-7 has now been adopted and introduced into our law to expand euthanasia, including the potential of allowing euthanasia for those suffering from mental illness. So think of persons with chronic depression. Within a couple of years, if there's no change in the current legislation, that could be used as grounds for euthanasia. Brother Alex Shadberg could speak to this, but he has calculated that we're probably over 19,000 euthanasia deaths in this country since the passage of the law. It's increasing to now roughly 2.5% of all deaths in our country. The focus of this resolution is to speak out in opposition to euthanasia by enhancing funding for palliative care. Governments have made announcements in this area, but they have not often fulfilled those promises in bringing funding to organizations and or entities that provide hospice or palliative care. In British Columbia, one such facility has been shut down effectively by the government.
15 seconds, please.
So again, as part of our pro-life ethic, I think we need to be speaking positively and with some passion on this issue. And finally, I want to thank you, State Advocate, for allowing the addition of supporting letters in the online version of the booklet. That appendix wasn't in my version, so that may be sent out after the convention for Grand Knights to follow. Thank you all and everyone for your attention and contemplation. Thank you.
Worthy Grand Knight Phil, we could probably send out a PDF version of the adopted resolutions that have indicated a letter campaign for the appendices. So we could do that afterwards. I now call upon Media Pass State Deputy Dan Hefferdin to speak for the resolution number 18. Brother Dan, please unmute your microphone. The floor is now yours.
Okay. You hear me okay?
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I want to speak in favor of this resolution as well. You know, when euthanasia first began back some years ago, I guess I was opposed to it, certainly, by all means, but I didn't think it would ever, I didn't think anybody I ever knew would go through the euthanasia, would go through the MAID. In the last year, I've had two people, one fairly close friend, a good brother Knight. A lot of you would know him if I said his name, but I won't. And he ended up in palliative care, or he was in the nursing home. And they have him 24/7 where they can be whispering in his ear all the time about, you don't have to go through this and you can end this and so on. I finally got a call from a good friend of his that told me that what he was about to do, and it was like 2 days to go and he's going to commit to euthanasia. I called him, and I've had 2 conversations with him and a number of text messages, pleaded with him to at least hold it off. You don't have to do it now and so on. And it was just no stopping him. And he ended up committing euthanasia. And then the other one was a
20
woman.
seconds, please.
20
seconds, please.
I hear you. And now they want to extend this law to include people with mental disabilities and people who are suffering from depression and anxiety and so on. On any given day, there's lots of people who would say, geez, I can't take this anymore. But tomorrow will be a different day. I think we need to stand against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Dan. Harpreet, I will now entertain any comments for or against the resolution, if there are any. Okay, indicating there are none. Brother Dom, if you put the voting on the screen. Brother, we're voting for number 18. Please vote accordingly if you're for the resolution of adoption or against or rejecting the resolution. And I call upon Brother Marcel at the appropriate time with the result.
A majority of the delegates have voted to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Brother Marcel. So I remind everybody that these 15, 16, 17, and 18 have been adopted, and there is a letter campaign in the appendixes, and we encourage councils to join us in that letter campaign. And now, Brother Dom, if you could put number 19 on the screen. And the resolution committee recommends adoption of number 19. And I will now call upon Grand Knight Nicholas Quadrini to speak on behalf of the resolution. And Brother Grand Knight Nicholas, please unmute your microphone and the floor is now yours.
Thank you very much, worthy state advocate. Appreciate your support and your work today on the convention. We really appreciate it. Brothers, as you know, we have a disability exemption process through the order. It's done by Supreme under section 118E of the Charter, Constitution, and Laws. And as you'll know, members, this means that any brother who is permanently disabled is able to get an exemption from their dues and also Supreme and state per capita. Now, currently, as you know, there is an evidence process that needs to be placed. So if you are someone who wishes to apply for this exemption, you need to apply with certification from Health and Human Services, or in Canada's Health Canada. We don't really have an equivalent. National Revenue Agency, Veteran Affairs, or from an attending physician. Now, brothers, it is very difficult for many of our brother knights to receive proof of their disability benefits, partially because many of them are only available online. And for many brothers who are ill, it's very difficult for them to use the computer, making this a barrier for them. Furthermore, notes from physicians are not covered by provincial and most private health insurance plans. This places a very substantial burden on our members, especially financially. I know a brother in my council, if he wanted to get a doctor's note to confirm his disability, would have to pay $250 to be able to request this. And my members, my council, and many others believe this is totally unacceptable and that we have to find a way to improve this. And furthermore, our COVID pandemic has also halted many of the ways in which brothers could go get these doctor's notes, particularly through non-essential medical appointments, which are currently either on hold or by virtual means. So by creating this expansion in exemption disability, we're trying to bring forward our first principle of our order, which is charity. We're trying to show charity towards our brother knights. We're trying to show our brothers that we care for them and want to support them. So
15 seconds, please.
What we're
15
proposing,
seconds.
Thank you. What we're proposing is that we'd like to see an expansion of disability exemption evidence by saying that you could also provide a letter from a brother knight's spouse, children, essential caregiver, or power of attorney, which essentially outlines the need for the disease, outlines the injury, and confirms the need for dues and per capita to be waived. So this is a resolution. I would implore all delegates to support it. Thank you, worthy state advocate.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Nicholas. I thank you for that. I will wait here to see if anybody indicates they wish to speak, either for or against.
Hey, Brother David, we have Brother Theodore Majko and Brother Paul Coughlin would like to both speak for.
Okay, so
we'll start with Theodore.
I'll only take one more for, because Nicholas speaks on behalf of that, and I'm going to take 2 for. And Brother Ted has already spoken earlier on a resolution. So who was the name of the other one?
Paul Coughlin, 5860. I'll unmute his mic now.
Please, if Brother Paul, if you could speak on that. Brother Ted, I thank you for your interest. And to give fairness to everyone else, I will call on Grand Knight Paul.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul. The floor is now yours.
I'm for this. We've experienced lots of problems with councils and assemblies to get this. I think the council itself should be able to sustain whether they believe that the injuries are valid and to make it a much easier process. So I'm for this resolution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight Paul. I will entertain any comments or remarks against the resolution, number 19. I will wait here to see if there are any. Brother Harpreet has indicated no one else wishes to speak against it, or anyone wants to speak against the resolution.
Worthy David, worthy State Advocate David, I have received a message from Paul Soulier,
okay,
who would like to speak against.
Okay, Brother Paul, please unmute your microphone. The floor is now yours.
Brother Paul Soulier, representing Council 8008. Our council had concerns with the liberalness of who would actually do this. Officially identifying someone as disabled and their disability shouldn't just come from family members, but perhaps there is another route that could be done, whether it's the medical system or whatever. Perhaps if there's other comments that came to me were regarding the affording of this, well, perhaps something could be done for that on a separate note. And it also opens the door to invalid approaches with it just leaving it with the family. Members have to assume this responsibility, whether it's by legal proxy or some kind, or for their actions, or power of attorney, I guess you call it, even if their health makes this challenging. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Paul. I will entertain one more against the resolution. Okay. Seeing none from Brother Harpreet or Brother Dom. Brother Dom, if you could put the poll up for resolution number 19. We're voting either to adopt the resolution 19 or against to adopt it, to reject it, basically. Okay, here we go. And Brother Marcel, State Secretary, will indicate the results when the poll is closed.
I think we're good here, Marcel. The majority of the delegates have voted to adopt the resolution.
Very good. Thank you, worthy State Secretary. Brothers, this concludes the resolutions. I thank everybody, all the delegates here, for your understanding and your cooperation. And I again thank the resolution committee for their hard work and their recommendations today. Worthy State Deputy, this concludes the report of the resolutions. I thank everyone involved today, and please proceed.
Thank you, Worthy State Advocate. Very well organized, very well done. Appreciate it. Thank you. We will now proceed with the audited financial statements for 2019 and 2020. I ask our State Treasurer, Brother Bruce Poulin, to address the delegates. Brother Bruce.
Thank you, State Deputy. As is customary, the annual financial statements are audited every year by a third party approved by the voting delegates at this convention. And in this case, the 2019-2020 financial statements were audited by Dennis Paganelli. As you will appreciate, the global COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdowns, 3 of them so far and counting, had a considerable impact on reducing costs and made it difficult to compare previous financial statements with the 2019-2020 ones we are currently discussing. So I say this as a word of caution to anyone wanting answers about discrepancies from fiscal year to fiscal year. What I can say is that with the lockdowns in Q3 and Q4, total travel expenses were reduced, as were other expenses such as accommodations and meals. In other words, there were some unforeseen but welcomed end of the fiscal year savings. As you will appreciate, there will be more substantial savings in the current fiscal year, even with the 50% reduction in the per capita fees. And I'm sure our new state deputy, new state treasurer-elect will be excited to present you with the financial statements for 2020-21 at our next state council convention. Unless Dennis Paganelli has anything to add, this concludes my report, and I make a motion to adopt my report as presented.
Nothing from Dennis. Without objection, the financial statements will be adopted as presented in the convention book.
Thank you, State Deputy. I would now like to make a motion to have Dennis Paganelli be appointed as our auditor for the next fiscal year.
Thank you, Brother Bruce. Without objection, Dennis Paganelli is appointed auditor for the next fiscal year. Let us now proceed to new business. The first item in new business is the adoption of the 2020-21 fraternal year budget for the State Council. As the budget has been distributed previously, without objection, it will be adopted as presented and included in the minutes. Is there any other business to come before the convention? Hearing none, at this time, I recognize our Provincial Chief Squire, Nigel Santamaria.
Thank you, State Deputy. Your Excellency, Reverend Father, worthy State Deputy, worthy Supreme Directors, worthy State Officers, worthy District Deputies, and worthy Knights. Good afternoon. For those of you who have not yet had the opportunity to speak to, my name is Nigel Santamaria, and I'm the Provincial Chief Squire. It is my privilege and honor of addressing you today. The Squires program takes young men and turns them into strong Catholic leaders. As said by our founder, Brother Barnabas, the supreme purpose of the Columbian Squires is character building. The Squires program is vital to the order, as it helps the youth to develop leadership skills while assisting their sponsoring councils at various council events and the church. Columbian Squires are the new future of the Knights of Columbus as we will continue our journey into knighthood. We learn from all the experience that come our way that strengthen our faith and leadership capabilities. The Squires program is based on 4 pillars: spiritual, membership, service, and circle. The Squires program helps develop Catholic youth leaders that serve God, church, and the community. This fraternal year was nothing but normal for everyone, which is why our board has come together and worked on several projects. This year, we started off really strong while creating care packages for the less fortunate. It was surely a great experience for everyone. We were still able to come together and plan an amazing outreach for people who are struggling during these unprecedented times. Another huge project that we have chosen to take on was to revamp the way our provincial board interacts with the circles. We changed that up by updating our quarterly newsletter into short videos that showcase the circles and their events that were very successful. This will surely bring new ideas to the table, and it also forces us to adapt to the new normal. We have also created a new investiture that still holds the same values, but is precedented to the candidates in a more effective and efficient way. Although that there were many bumps in the road, we as a team overcame those challenges. I now ask for your help to please contact parishes that do not have circles and promote circle branching. This will help grow our membership, and in turn, it'll help the Knights collect younger members. For more details, please visit our website, ontariosquires.com. Thank you for your continued support of the Columbian Squires, and I look forward to working with each of you next year with the new board to welcome new members that'll benefit the order. Esto Dignus, be worthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. I now recognize our General Agent, Brother Neil Bouvier, for his remarks to the meeting. Brother Neil.
Good morning. Worthy State Deputy, may it please Your Excellency, worthy State Board Officers, worthy District Deputies, Brother Knights, Frère Chevalier, I bring you warm greetings this morning on behalf of my fellow General Agents and the entire field force of Ontario. It feels sort of cliche to say that this past year was unprecedented for our insurance program. It was unprecedented for everyone and everything. It has been, without question, a difficult year. No doubt you've all suffered in your own ways, both big and small. You've lost loved ones, you've had lives upended, you've lost jobs, you've missed family, or maybe just you've spent more time in your house than you ever thought possible. Whatever it wasn't what you had planned. It wasn't what any of us had planned. And though there was, of course, tremendous suffering, I believe that God glorifies all things. And I believe that this past year taught us a lot and gave us a lot of gifts that we'll take with us going forward. It reminded us to slow down. It reminded us to focus on what matters most. It reminded us that life is precious. It reminded us to hold dear to those closest to us. It reminded us that our faith and our sacraments are precious and not to be taken for granted. It reminded us the importance of community and brotherhood. In a way, actually, I think it reminded us of why our fraternity is so important. Think of that list. Slow down, focus on what matters most. Life is precious, community is important, the bonds of brotherhood are critical, and our faith is precious. Is there anything on this list that we as Knights don't believe? Is there anything on this list that we as Knights don't represent? And so this year, more than ever, I and my fellow General Agents and Field Agents are deeply proud to be members of this great organization and deeply motivated to do as much as we can to help move our mission forward. And so I'd like to update you today on how we're doing in that regard. Being in the life insurance business during a global pandemic is a humbling experience. We have filed so many claims. We have comforted so many loved ones. We have seen such heartache, and yet we've also seen renewed focus from you, our brother Knights, to make sure that our financial situation is secure. But we have also seen more of you than ever before. Technology has allowed us to connect easily and more quickly. Fraternal benefit nights have, for the most part, gone virtual and drawn crowds that would have been hard to match in person. More phones have been answered and emails returned, even if just because more people were home. The order now has more than $121 billion of life insurance in force, of which nearly $7 billion is in Ontario. The order manages over $28 billion in assets, and just last year alone paid out nearly $750 million in benefits to members and policyholders and dividends and death claims. Our field force was hard at work in 2020. The top field agent by ranking in Ontario was Bobby Renault from Sudbury of the Duval Agency, and the top fraternal field agent as voted by his peers was Vincent D'Souza in Ottawa from the Medore Agency. Cette année, malgré la pandémie, les confinements et la panique du printemps dernier, les Chevaliers de Colomb ont battu des records de vente. Oui, j'ai bien dit des records de vente. Pourquoi? Je pense qu'il y a 3 raisons simples. Premièrement, nos membres ont à cœur la protection de leur famille. Deuxièmement, nos membres ont confiance en nous. Et finalement, nos membres savent ce que nous représentons. Ils savent qu'ils doivent planifier leur retraite et assurer l'avenir de leur famille. Ils savent que nous sommes parmi les compagnies d'assurance les plus stables financièrement en Amérique du Nord. This year, despite the pandemic, despite the lockdowns, and despite the panic that led to a near total shutdown in the spring, the Knights of Columbus set sales records too. I'll say that again. The Knights of Columbus set sales records in the year 2020. Why? I think there are 3 simple reasons. First, our brothers want to secure their families. Second, our brothers trust us. And third, our brothers know what we stand for. They know they need to plan for the retirement and safeguard their family's future. They know we're one of the most financially secure life insurers in North America. And they know that by doing business with the Knights, they can get the same great and competitively priced products that they can get anywhere, but that the special satisfaction of knowing where that money goes is something they can only get with us. We are a unique organization. All of the good work you have done this past year, all of the dollars you have donated, and the hours you have given to make sure that you leave no neighbor behind are a testament to that. And we are a unique company too. A company who established a multi-million-dollar loan fund for suffering dioceses amid the pandemic. A company whose founder just this year was beatified and is just one final step away from canonization. In the midst of all the rest, that is something to celebrate. And so, as we look back on the fraternal year that was, and look forward to the fraternal year ahead, I want to thank all of you on behalf of all the agents here in Ontario for your leadership and our partnership. If this past year has taught us anything, it's that your parishes and your communities need you. They need you now more than ever. And maybe, just maybe, you and your brother Knights need our financial protection. The very same financial protection envisioned by our blessed founder, now more than ever. Maybe now is the time for some peace of mind. Maybe now is the time to put your money where your faith is. Whenever you're ready, we'll be here to take your call, as we always are. And we look forward to being with you again next year to celebrate all of our order's successes. Viva Jesus.
Thank you, General Agent Neil Bouvier, for your message and being with us today. My dear brother Knights, let us pause for a moment and remember all the millions of people who have lost their lives due to this dreadful pandemic. May their souls rest in peace. We also pray that God will give their surviving loved ones the grace and strength to carry on bearing this terrible loss. June 2021 marks the completion of my 2 years as your state deputy. It feels as though the years have zoomed by. Despite our restrictions and lockdown, we have been able to accomplish a great deal during these 2 years, and I am very grateful to all of you who helped make this possible. Because of your dedication and commitment, Ontario still stands tall within our order. I am grateful to so many of my brother Knights who have assisted and supported me during my term that if I attempt to list you individually and to thank you personally in this speech, then I believe I will carry on well beyond the time allocated for the convention itself. Suffice to say that I have been blessed to have been associated with a great group of skilled and committed individuals who have been responsible for any success that I have enjoyed. To each and every one of you, I extend a sincere thank you. We have had a few rough times over the past couple of years. We have had to face challenges which could have derailed our mission. But I was fortunate enough to have the support of all whom I consider critical. And you helped me to overcome the hurdles. May God bless you for assisting and supporting me and believing in me when I needed it the most. I will be forever grateful that you elected me to the office as your state deputy, to the office of state deputy. It truly has been a privilege to serve you. The support, guidance, and help which you gave me has meant a lot to me, both during the easy times as well as the more difficult and challenging ones. Thank you to all the members of the State Board, to my directors, chairmen, membership information officers, district deputies, our office staff in particular, and all our members. All of you have worked tirelessly, and it is deeply appreciated. Despite the challenges we faced during this past year and a half, we are keeping the faith and we are moving our order forward. We are staying in communication as best as we can, most importantly, reaching out and helping those in need. So I am grateful to our Almighty God for His guidance, His support, and His help. I have made firm friendships that will last a lifetime, and I have learned a lot from you during my tenure on the board. The order needs men like you to keep it prosperous, so keep doing what you do best, living and growing the order. To the newly elected board officers, congratulations. I wish you the very, very best. May Blessed Father Michael McGivney pray for all who follow in his footsteps and keep his vision alive. Thank you, Team Ontario. Viva Jesus. Brother Dom, at this time I ask you to please launch our concluding poll.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy. My brothers, at this time, please pay attention to your screen. It's very important for us to solicit information and get your feedback on this type of event. It was certainly not without its challenges and logistical configurations, as we can all imagine, but we would appreciate your honesty and your frank vote here. So we would ask you to please vote accordingly, and we thank you for your time. Worthy State Deputy, while this is concluding as well, we'd also like to take a final attendance vote as well, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So brothers, at the conclusion of this one, we will launch the next poll, and we will ask you to please log your attendance. Very good. We will conclude here now. Thank you, brothers, for your votes here. We'll wait just another 5 seconds. Excellent. And brothers, if you would now please just to log your attendance. We always take one at the beginning and at the end. So this way we can cross-reference our attendance records.
Just message our chaplain, he's next.
Brothers, we'll just keep it open just for another 10 or 15 seconds or so. If you have not already done so, please, those of you that are on your computer, if you could just log your attendance here, greatly appreciated. And very good. For the State Deputy, we will now conclude the vote. Thank you, brothers. Much appreciated for your cooperation.
Thank you, Brother Dom. I also take this opportunity, Brother Dom, to wish and thank you and Harpreet for running this platform for us. Very well run, very smooth. Thank you. I now call on our state chaplain to lead us in the prayer for canonization of Father McGivney. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, worthy State Deputy, and congratulations on completing an important term and on your facility with the Zoom platform. It's very good.
Thank you.
So I have a prayer, the prayer for the canonization of Father McGivney, and I'll pray it as our conclusion. If it's in your book, you want to pray along, please do. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
God our Father, protector of the poor and defender of the widow and orphan, called your priest, Blessed Michael J. McGivney, to be an apostle of Christian family life and to lead the young to the generous service of their neighbor. Through the example of his life and virtue, may we follow your Son, Jesus Christ, more closely, fulfilling his commandment of charity and building up his body, which is the church. That the inspiration of your servant prompt us to greater confidence in your love, so that we may continue his work of caring for the needy and the outcast. We humbly ask that you glorify us of Father Michael J. McGivney on earth, according to the design of your holy will. Through his intercession, grant the favor I now present. That the outgoing and incoming officers, the Ontario State Council of the Knights of Columbus, and the many good works of the order be richly blessed. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will now sing the closing ode. Brother Dom. Thank you, Brother Dom. Since there is no other business, the meeting is now adjourned. I thank everyone for your patience and your time today. Stay safe and be blessed. Viva Jesus.